Welcome back to another edition of Two Up Front, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Baxter Colburn. No Simon Provan, just for this interview, as you've been hearing the rest of the episode. Simon's been here with us today, chatting with us about all kinds of great things. But for this one specific interview, Simon actually had to run off and take care of some other things. So I have the opportunity to speak with Whitecaps FC forward Kyle Greig. He's got some ties to Wisconsin. He's now part of the USL side, Whitecaps FC, and he now joins us here on Two Up Front. Kyle, thank you so much for taking some time today, sir.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me on the show.
You're very welcome. All right, Kyle, well, for those of us that are here in the great state of Wisconsin, we realize that you have some Wisconsin ties, and I'm curious to know what your background is to the great cheesehead state.
I do. I was actually born in Stevens Point, but I moved at a very early age, so I don't remember living there at all. But my family, my grandparents, and my aunts and uncles live in La Crosse. So
okay, fantastic.
I head up north every Christmas to spend some time with family. So definitely still am connected, even though I don't live there, obviously, now, but
Sure.
I was when I was a baby.
What a small world. Yeah, my wife's family is actually from La Crosse, so I get to the Cooley region every once in a while, and actually my grandparents went to UW Stevens Point as well, so that's kind of funny
Nice.
how small world it is.
Definitely, yeah. And my parents they went to University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire.
Okay, sure. Wow, that's fantastic. So how did you get your start in the soccer game? Obviously, we know that you are at Whitecaps FC right now, which is the USL side to the Vancouver Whitecaps. But talk a little bit about your soccer journey that now led you to playing professional soccer in the USL.
Yeah, so I started off. I played college soccer at a small NAIA school in Kansas, and it's pretty tough at a small school to get noticed by big MLS clubs or any professional club rather. And so I kind of went to some trial opportunities around the country, and was going to go to Sweden actually, and then I ended up landing a contract in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is in the USL. And then from there, the next year after that, I joined an expansion side, Oklahoma City Energy, which is the USL, and I was there for 2 seasons. And I kind of went there because it was close to home, because now I'm living in Kansas City. And so then after that, then I just took a leap of faith to kind of join the Whitecaps too, to kind of get myself closer to an MLS team, really, where day in and day out I'm being evaluated. And obviously the goal for me is to play in the MLS, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to come here and really develop and be in front of the first team coaches.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, looking back at your stats, you have 22 goals and 4 assists in your 3 USL seasons. You helped Oklahoma last season get to the Western Conference Final, and then you also were the team leader in goals with 9 in 2014 for Energy. So Oklahoma kind of seems to have that special place in your heart a little bit too. And there's even rumors that they might get a pro team at some point. And do you think that might would that drag you back to that area? Not drag is the wrong word to use, but that might entice you back to that area if they were to get a pro team at some point?
I mean, to be honest, I'm always open to playing anywhere that there's an opportunity to play at a higher level. I'm always willing and open to try that. That's kind of why I decided to come here to Vancouver, is to put myself really in the best spot. And it's the hard part about being a professional is you don't know what the right decision and how that decision is going to play out, but you kind of just got to make the decision wherever you just kind of go with it and just do your best.
Yeah, no, that completely makes sense. How much time do you get spending around the first team at all, since you are part of their second team, I guess, in terms of being with Whitecaps? How much time do you get to see like some of those other strikers on the team, like Blas Perez and those other guys that they've got?
Yeah, well, our first preseason game, Blas Perez had just kind of got in. He was just finishing his contract and getting all that sorted. So he actually played with us in our first preseason game against University of British Columbia. So I mean, from the start, pretty much I'm around those guys and kind of see where I need to be, or talk to them for advice and things like that. And then even some midfielders. So Christian Bolaños is
Sure.
a Costa Rican international, and he's coming down and training with us last week because he was on suspension from the league.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we're constantly interacting and training, and being able to really use those resources in the coaches and the players to kind of hopefully make us better and get to where they're at.
Do you like the fact that a lot more MLS teams are starting to get a partner club, either with the USL or NASL teams? I feel like that, at least from an outsider's perspective, as someone that covers the league, I feel like the partnership has started to really benefit. But on the player side of it, do you think it does help the players grow a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. I think being in Oklahoma City, we were partnered with, when I was playing there, we were partnered with Sporting Kansas City, and just that relationship between Sporting and Oklahoma City was not as strong as if an MLS team were to put their own USL team in. And so, it's in the USL, or guys in the USL really fighting for a spot on the first team. So I think it's a huge benefit.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. Now, you guys have a opening season just a couple days away. How is the team looking, and what are you most excited about? Or even are there some teams coming up that you're like, hey, I can't wait to play that team in USL this year?
Obviously, I'm very excited to play Oklahoma City because that's where I came from. I think they're our fourth game of the season. We play them at home, so I'm excited to see some of my good friends and old teammates and really get to battle out against them. But I'm just excited for the season and really just to start playing games that really your preseason games mean something because you're preparing for the season. But I'm really excited to start playing for 3 points really.
How big is the Cascadia rivalry in the USL clubs? I know here in MLS we hear about Seattle and Vancouver and Portland, the Cascadia Cup. They're duking it out all year long, but does that carry over to the USL sides as well?
Yeah, it does, because there are guys on the first team that are getting loaned down, and even the guys that are playing for the Whitecaps residency. There's a huge Cascadia rivalry between those teams, and so although it's new for me, I'm aware of it, and if I see that how important that is for my teammates and the organization, then I'm going to fight to get those special 3 points.
Absolutely, yeah. For those of us that cover the game, we always hear about that and see that anytime there's a Cascadia game on the schedule, our eyes are hardly attuned to that game, and I'm curious to see, now especially the USL this season too, if that carries over a little bit more. One other question I have for you too, in terms of expansion a little bit too with MLS clubs. We hear about all these other MLS teams that continue to come into the league at all. Do you feel like there's maybe one area of the country that needs to get a couple more teams in the area, or just do you feel like the way the expansion has been going so far that it's the league is on the right track?
I think it's on the right track. You see Minnesota is going to be coming in soon.
Yeah.
And then there's been talks even of like some markets such as like St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis is a very historic soccer city, and obviously I'm from Kansas City, so sporting's a big deal down there. So I think it'd be nice to get more, Midwestern type teams. I understand that, that in the Midwest soccer is still growing a lot, but I think the league is doing well to kind of fulfill the markets that are going to help the league kind of grow.
If you were MLS commissioner for a day, where would you put a team if you had the opportunity? So you could put it at any city, anywhere in the country, regardless of size. Where would you put one?
It's a tough one. I really do think Arizona is a huge market. I'm throwing a little curveball, but my grandma and my aunt live down there. And
sure.
My grandma or my aunt is a kindergarten teacher, and there's a lot of obviously Hispanics and things like that. And I know down there it's just soccer is just a big passion for kids and a lot of the Hispanic culture. So
absolutely.
I think that'd be a good place.
And we hear that all the time too. MLS teams and even USL and NASL teams doing preseason down in Arizona as well. So you feel like, well, hey, if they continue to do preseason down there, who's to say they can't put a team in Phoenix or Tempe or some of those other places as well? Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Kyle, a couple other questions here for you before we let you go. Talking with Kyle Greig of the Whitecaps F.C., the USL side of Vancouver. Talk us a little bit about you as a player specifically. You come in at 6'2", 185 pounds. Every forward's got their different style that they play the game. I played forward as well throughout my high school and college days as well. I was a little bit leaner. Same size, a little bit leaner though, so I was more of a speed guy, didn't have the technical side of things, but you've got a little bit more size on you than I did. I mean, I'm about 6'1", 170, but what attributes do you use when playing your game, or different tips and things that you've used and that help you score all the goals that you've been able to do so far?
I think I'm kind of a blue collar, hardworking type of forward. I don't do anything too fancy. I'll use moves as practical, but Otherwise, I'm a pretty standard, center forward, number 9 forward that tries holding the ball up to the team and then getting myself in dangerous positions as well to get on the end of crosses, set pieces, and through balls and stuff. So I think a little bit more blue collar, like I said, hardworking, that I kind of just like to grind out and get myself in the right positions. And so I'm always learning as well. So I am learning, the more tricky runs and things like that off the back shoulder of Bax. But I think my foundation kind of comes from just, hard work and really using my athleticism and strength to score goals.
What would and one of the other things I'm always curious to ask about forwards too, especially, and at least for me, I've got some. Is there a goal or two that you've scored anytime throughout your career that really stands out to you as saying, wow, that was a pretty darn nice goal, honestly? Because, I mean, we all, we try not to be too boastful, of course, as I'm sure you know, but it's like, hey, even as a player, sometimes when you score goals, you're like, that was a pretty darn nice goal. Is any moments like that stand in your head at all? Or you're like, oh, that went in? Like, wow, okay, that was kind of cool.
The one that really sticks out to me is the first goal I actually scored as a professional. It was my first game, first start.
Wow,
I was
okay.
in Wilmington, and my teammate and actually roommate played a ball, just a square ball across the top of the 18, which is hard for a forward to kind of hit a ball that's coming square to you, and I hit it first time, and it kind of like curled into the top right corner, and so that one sticks out for me probably more because it was my first professional goal.
Yes, yep.
But I don't know. I haven't really scored too many, big highlight reel type, Sports Center top 10 goals, but which doesn't matter to me because a goal is a goal, whether it's
exactly.
being in the right place at the right time or scoring a bicycle kick. So.
But yeah, exactly. You hear about that sometimes too, and it's from different players that we've had a chance to talk with here on Two Up Front. At times we hear about that. Some players are like, yeah, I mean, I'm just thankful that I'm scoring a goal. I mean, as long as it, like you said, as long as it goes in, that's all that really matters. And every once in a while, you do get those opportunities where it's like, yeah, it was a crazy ricochet, or I just decided to take a shot from 40 yards out and it just happened to go in. It's like that's just part of the game, and that's the beauty of soccer. Well, fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, Kyle, I appreciate you taking the time today. I apologize for the crazy technical difficulties that we've had, but appreciate you sticking it out with us, and best of luck to you on your season, and hopefully we can have you back on in the future as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. We'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
Sounds great, Kyle. Thank you so much. Kyle Greig of Whitecaps FC here on Two Up Front. We appreciate him taking some time today. We're going to run to a break. When we come back, we've got more exciting action for you here on Two Up Front, presented by Sports Radio America. Don't go anywhere.